you survive thanks to it, or you drown, as you mentioned, to it. You succumb to it, and that's the scary part. Now we're gonna start in Town and City, the current biggest stage in the current place rule set that we have. And again, as I mentioned, there's gonna be a lot of just being on your face. But of course, Kafeik does have this slight advantage when it comes to distance play, because yes, Wario has the bike, but Kafeik does have those turnips that can be just a nuisance, and they're a structural part of Peach's game plan. So it could still very determining of who is going to be the best at item play, which is pivotal in this matchup.
And something that I also have to mention is that those turnips can be eaten by Wario as well.
Right.
So the fact that they can be eaten by Wario will also charge both his waft and heal him, which in the end you're like, oh, he only heals for like 1 or 2%. But yeah, I mean, but that's the only thing that they need. Like 1 or 2% is the only thing that that Wario needs in order to make live or not. And right there with the Buenos Dias, Mandy getting hit right there immediately is going to take that stock, and we have Waymas with the first stock of this set using that forward tilt.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit harder for Kafeik to try to get the... of course, Peach benefits a little bit more of the offstage play style, or at least edge guarding quite a lot. But Waymas does benefit from this because he does have a lot of really good recovery tools. He's got the bike, he's got that LB that also has active hitboxes. So it could be a good way to trade, or at least ensure a little bit of a safer recovery. He's just waiting for Kafeik to make a mistake, gets the claps, unas palmas to get something started. And at least so far it has worked, because Kafeik is currently not being able to find a good way to get rid of this first stock still.
And of course, you see how I can't really blame him, because Waymas has experience. Like, he's one of the older people in the community. Like, with all due respect, of course, I do respect
you don't have
my
to call him
elders.
like that.
No, I mean, no, I'm not calling him out. But the thing is, with age comes experience, and of course, Waymas has that. And like the thing is, he's not only used to like this iteration of Peach, he's used to a lot of them. Smash 4, Ultimate, even Brawl, I dare say, man, heck, even Melee probably. But at this point, like, that's the thing, you have to take into consideration that he knows how to play against Peach, and not just because like he has a lot of matchup experience, but simply because of the experience that he has in general.
Imagine right now, if Waymas takes the stock, it would mean a whole lot, and just like that, he goes into the poke, into the shoulder bash. Kafeik still at a loss because he hasn't been able to confirm that stock just yet, and he's just under 200 when the first stock is gone. This will mean that Kafeik has a hill of a climb in the subsequent games, because adaptation is going to have to be key. I don't doubt him for a second, because Kafeik is someone that could definitely do so. However, right now, game 1 seems a bit of a loss, because Waymas hasn't even used Waft, and I think he's just about to let it rip to just send a message, you know, Dio?
Well, in a way, I do see it, but yeah, of course he's not going to do so if it's not something like absolutely secure, which is something that Waymas, of course, has on down. I mean, of course, he knows how to use all these setups, all these Wario Waft setups and the such, but going with the down tilt to dash attack is something that has been using quite a lot in order to effectively neutralize the gap that could be within Kafeik and Waymas. And of course, this is going to be a bit on the difficult side, because not only that, he has 2 stocks, but he also has the wall. So he's just looking for an opportunity. He doesn't feel a lot of pressure to actually use it, which is why he's just standing there. Look, he's the one he's saying right here, they have to approach me. I don't have to approach them.
No, this happened yesterday. Waymas I was commending him in playing the super save, like super confirmed base, but then he just let rip one, not even a half waft, and he was just letting things rip up, and they work, you know. So Waymas does have this ability of being conservative with his play style, but then in a matter of seconds he will turn it up and he will get you off guard. Now Kafeik has again, as I mentioned earlier, a very hard incline here, because he is basically against all odds, because right now game 1 seemed very commanding, despite the fact that he was slowly bringing it back. That gives me hope for the subsequent games.
Quite so, and I do understand where both of these players are coming from. It can be very difficult for Peach to play against a character that rivals her airspeed, then rivals her air mobility as well. So it could be said that Wario is a good matchup against Peach, but as well, that being the case, Peach can stall out Wario for a lot of his options.
Right.
And even though Wario sometimes can favor in the long run the game, it also depends a lot on the player's playstyle. And while Waymas is a patient one, he knows that he knows that. I mean, years of experience has taught him that he doesn't really have to move anywhere if he doesn't feel like uncomfortable in a way. So I do understand where he's coming from, but yes, I do say that this matchup is very inclined towards Waymas' favor. But the fact that he was bringing it back makes me fearful for the future for Waymas, but also makes me hopeful for the future for Kafeik.
Yeah, in this case, we're going into Northern Cave, taking advantage of the position of those platforms that allow for a little bit more of a, not safer, but at least more consistent drop-down options to either edge guard or maybe just throw the turnip at different angles. I think it's absolutely crucial here. However, Waymas is not recovering low at all, and I think that's missing with Kafeik. Just a little bit, at least ever so slightly, because he's not being able to get any edge guards, at least so far, at least what we've seen. So he's relying more on stage control, which I think both are absolutely good at. And even the less jump gets nothing out of Kafeik just yet. He's just playing around with his motorcycle, knowing that one mistake will put him on the blast zone just like that.
Yes, and that's exactly that. Using the motorcycle, not so while throwing out a move in a way, so it wasn't like technically move, but he was using his projectile in order to make Kafeik go towards the ledge. And once he was there at the ledge, that's where he got him. He said, you know what, okay, this is where you're going to start to struggle, and this is where I'm going to hit you. And that's exactly what he did. So using that motorcycle as well as an area of pressure, like using it in order to pressure him as well, is something that's quite nice. So I do have to commend right here Waymas for playing in an excellent manner. Is this bike gonna be? Nope. His bike is nowhere to be found, sir.
Yeah, it was just destroyed, so not enough time for it to come out right now. Kafeik not falling behind at all, so he's just holding that stage in the middle. He knows that as soon as you give up that option, Waymas will take a mile and will run for ages. Right now doing phenomenally, using that platform as a landing option and punishing effectively. That's exactly what you want to do. Again, once more, Kafeik just putting extra pressure every single time. Waymas tries to recover, and he's doing phenomenally at keeping that Wario off that side of the right side of the stage. It's ridiculous, but now it's Waymas' turn to get something started.
And tried to do so as well right there, but doesn't go for the correct option in that up tilt, trying to extend it a bit more, but no, we're going with the clap, only one clap. And now we're seeing that Waymas is understanding how he has to play against Kafeik, using the momentum right there. And Peach doesn't have a double jump, but she has a float. Of course, she has a float. This character makes it back every single time, unless she's super down into the depths of hell. But no, she's making it back. And right here, going with the back air. Careful right here, because those were dot eyes, like you mentioned, using the RNG right there to Peach's favorite. Kafeik is doing everything within his arsenal in order to keep Waymas at bay, and is doing so quite well. But once he just walks up slowly and eats you, it becomes a bit difficult, of course.
Yeah, that's the conditioning, right? That's some sort of pressure enough that works to make a mistake, to get something done. However, Kafeik, I do like how he's been very, very consistent when it comes to the edge guarding, just like that. Once again, that hip thrust to allow Kafeik to take a lead once again. Potentially not for too long, because we've seen Waymas just bring stocks back. He doesn't need much more than a dash attack at this point. Maybe if it's too centered on the stage, it might not be enough to get the stock. However, that's exactly what Kafeik knows, and he's doing it. He's taking control of the middle of the stage to avoid getting taken the stock by that dash attack. I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen a single waft, not even the half, get something started, and it's just starting to pay the toll, because Kafeik really has something going on by the ledge every time he finds or he catches Waymas off it.
Oh, and he tried to go for the... Oh, he has a stitch face. You have to be careful. He's going towards the other side. He wants nothing to do with that. But Kafeik understands it and just lets the stitch face rip. And this is going to tie up the set 1-1. No waft, no motorcycle. Even though he did go for a very, very nice recovery, trying to avoid him, Kafeik recognized that immediately and noticed that he had enough time to even two-frame him with the down air. And he just let that stitch face go, bro. He just let it go right there. So very well played on behalf of this player right here. But I do have to say, Cirque, I am liking the odds of how everything is looking for now, at least for Kafeik, because that first game, even though I would say he didn't get run over, but there was a very remarkable difference per se. But now, it's not here.
Yeah, to be fair, Kafeik was falling behind I'm sorry, Waymas was falling behind, but just not by a lot. It wasn't a huge margin, you know. He was always one confirm, one good read away from evening the damage or the stocks in this case. So definitely they're still quite even when it comes to their skill gap. It's a matter of good counter picks. I think Northern K was an absolute must. It definitely worked in his favor. So now it's turn for Waymas to see if his counter pick is going to serve him any purpose. We haven't seen a lot of Dreamland Fountain in this Fountain of Dreams. Sorry, in this in the current games that we had on stream so far. But a lot of people are not too used how they move. But again, we're going into small battlefield, a very neutral stage for both of them. I'm really ecstatic to see how much their adaptation comes out. And look, we got a stage fate that goes immediately to the abyss.
You would know about neutral stages, didn't you? What? But yes, we're going straight into small battlefield. I'm sorry, I just had to make that comment, bro. I couldn't let you live off it without telling you something, man. But, you know, all in good fun, all in good fun. But yes, I really like the fact that a small battlefield is one of the more smaller stages, but as well one that could benefit most of the roster right here. And going up right there with the crown, right, and with the macaroni of the crown, trying to go with the Buenos Dias Mandi, but not quite getting it yet. And Waymas just, dude, he has gone for that like 4 times. We barely saw it last time. Now he's going in for like eternally. What is going on? And right here, trying to go for the down tilt into dash attack, maybe catch a jump or something, but no, it's Kafeik, the one at the ledge, just patiently waiting. And right here, what a great time get up attack in order to avoid both the turn up and the pressure that Peach is doing right here. Trying to go with the up smash, not quite yet, gets retaliated with the crown. And now we're going to see trying to go for the ledge jump, not enough. And oh, he tried to go for the chop. Nope. But Kafeik has been avoiding all of these kill confirms majestically. What is going on?
He has to, because right now he's not too far off. Now again, we got another stitch fix to try to get something started. Nothing happened out of it, and still everybody's whiffing except that shoulder bash. Once again, Wario with his dash attack is going to be able to take one stock. Careful here, because we know that those conversions from Wario's Nair will bring a lot of pain. However, Kafeik gets out of it easy, on an easy note this time around, because he only gets 20% to his name. Kafeik still falling short, because it's very difficult to get something started once Wario gets his nasty hands on you. And of course, every time you get slapped, you will suffer, and you will hurt quite a lot.
Yes, but I wouldn't say that Wario's hands are nasty though. I mean,
they're a little nasty.
Yeah, not literally nasty, but come on, you can't blame a man who has all these environmental projects. I mean, like, man, he has Mount Wario. It's a dam that generates electricity for a lot of people. I mean, come on. Anyways, right, going back there, don't disrespect my man Wario. He may be greedy, but like he invests it in stuff like environmental projects.
Okay.
So we gotta place some respect on my man. But anyways, along with the small side effects right here, Kafeik doing a bit of a combo right there, going into dash attack into up air, but Waymas immediately retaliating with the escape, and once again the downer into the forward air. I really like what Waymas is doing. Well, I'm sorry, more like what Kafeik is doing in regards to like making Waymas, punishing him for doing the incorrect option. Like he's using like a lot of defensive options, and he's capitalizing off of it. Oh god, I said capitalizing, didn't I? But he eats up a lot of damage, and that's when Kafeik is starting to shine, because his kill options are a lot more consistent than Wario's.
I'm a little surprised though. I need to admit this. Kafeik yesterday was doing phenomenally, especially with counters. That's a tool that a lot of people underappreciates. I think Peach's counter is absolutely ridiculous, and the fact that we haven't seen it just yet, I don't know if it speaks about Kafeik's recognition of just how fast Wario can punish in case it misses, but it's still a very tangible tool, especially considering how most of Wario's recovery options do have hitboxes. There's no way the waft, the fully charged waft added with the rage, is just going to be enough. That didn't seem to be true at all. He was a little too high up, but Waymas knows better, and he just let it rip, knowing that it would achieve the intended goal, which was getting this next game in his favor.
And you know what happened there? Like, I wouldn't say it's like, oh no, it's just that it wasn't true or anything like that. No, what happened is that whole interaction right there was just Waymas conditioning him. He was understanding, recognizing what he was doing. Like, because you saw him, he threw him up, he did a couple of up airs, and what did he do? He wasted his second jump. And then what happened? And then he used his up air again, and then again, and stuff like that. And when he noticed that he was out of options, he recognized, okay, he's not going to do anything now. And that's when he capitalized off of it. That's why using his waft is so important. And we're going to change characters. Not really. I mean, yes, but technically no. Yes, but technically no, because we're going to be seeing the far superior Daisy go into the battlefield. Fight me, chat. Go ahead, at me on Twitter for having bad taste. I don't care. You're the one who have bad taste if you prefer.
I think you're in the majority. Funnily enough, I think a lot of people do love Daisy, and I have to admit, yesterday in pools, Kafeik did pull Daisy out, and that was what allowed him to just bring it back to that comeback factor is real, especially with the princess from Sarasaland. So it's really interesting to see how this change, albeit a little bit too small or negligent, it will at least psychologically work in Kafeik's favor. I'm 100% of that. I'm 100% sure.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's like changing the costumes, right? Like whenever you're like, okay, I have to go serious now, I'll change to this red costume that I've seen a lot. That people like, oh no, now it's the bloodstained costume. Like y'all are edgy, but I mean, if it works for a power up, hey, be my guest. In the end, give me a spectacle at least if you're going to do something like that. And like I'm seeing right here, apparently it's working. Yeah. Kafeik is going into this Violet Daisy. I really like this color for Daisy, and well, apparently it's working because Waymas now on 170 0%. I'm sorry, because he just lost that stock, and now Kafeik is in the lead with less than 50, which is impressive.
Yeah, there's a weird psychological factor here because Kafeik, as soon as he turns Daisy, he goes hyper aggressive, and it definitely works. That's the thing. Like it's like he's playing a different character, or because it changes his whole mentality up. Right now, the lead is on his side. He's pushing every single button, and he's pushing them right. He's opting for the safest of the options to get the edge guard done, and look at him just pouncing, prowling, knowing that as soon as Waymas makes a decision, Kafeik will be ready to get something out of it. Right now, gets a little poke by the ledge, and this is a trend that we've seen a lot as far as we've seen. And look, that extension on the hitbox was not enough, despite the fact that it was just so good.
And Kafeik is extending so well, bro. He's extending so well in what's going on. No, Waymas, come on, man.
I'm telling you.
He techs so well. He techs so well, and then he just dies like that. I mean, come on, bro. All right, getting the neutral get up right there, getting the correct read, getting a bit of percentage as well. But Kafeik is just living right here, man. He does not want to have anything to do with it. He's just sticking to his guns, using his percentage, playing within his playstyle, and Waymas isn't really reacting as well as he would like to.
I'm telling you, he's loco. He's crazy. Look at him go. That's a threesome with the Daisy, the princess of Sarasaland, once again establishing supremacy. The right princess for the right job. The tool is there, and the mentality shift is undeniable. The fact that Kafeik was just so ready, so aggressive, so accurate when it came to dealing the right amounts of pressure and damage is just absolutely undeniable. Leo. Now, here's the fun part. I do believe Kafeik will switch back to Peach. At least that's what happened yesterday. Like, he was going Daisy, and I'm like, okay, I did my thing. I'm gonna switch back. And I think if he does that again, if that's a trend that he does, it's like, okay, aggressive. Now I step back, and then I do it again. And that if he does that, that means he has my absolute respect as a competitor.
I don't know, man. I really don't know, because if he does it, I mean, like, why would you change from something that's already working? Keep the momentum going.
I agree. He did that yesterday.
I mean, of course, one would suspect that they would follow a pattern naturally. Yeah. But I mean, like, what we're seeing right here, if it ain't, like they don't say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, bro. I mean, you already got the Daisy on deck and she's working. Well, then let her do her work, bro.
Yeah. Exactly, and we've seen that again. Once again, Kafeik is just actively chasing down. He really wants to find those confirms. He gets the setups too, which is absolutely scary. Waymas hasn't been able since the previous game to find a good option to challenge. Look at him with the chase down, the elegant float, just going right, chasing him down in a beautiful pattern that allows Kafeik to extend his aggression, extend the punish game that he's just gifting us with this beautiful display of skill.
And quite so as well. Peach being one of the more technical characters too. is something that a lot of people tend to dismiss. Like they tend to like, oh yeah, it's Peach. You can do combos and float and tech and float cancel and stuff like that. But no, she's more technical than a lot of players give her credit for. And while as yes, I mean she's like understood like she is a technical character, but you have to understand that people who like lab her have like an impressive set of skills, and if they have the hands to do it, because it's not just about doing it. If they have the chance to also apply it and have the skills to do it within a match, then it's just an impressive, like you mentioned, display of skill as well. Not only like character knowledge, but also tech skill.
I'm telling you, Waymas right now opting for a half charge waft, wanting to get something, wanting to get the stock immediately back. However, this is the good thing about Waymas. Like he's always able to switch in a second. Like he's opting for the consistent stuff. He's opting for the safe things, but then he outlies that. There you go. He popped the balloon, pleasing my boy Dio. And maybe this will give him a good luck charm.
Dude, like I'm not gonna lie to you, people who always pop the balloons, they end up winning, and I'm not. The game that I popped the balloon is the game he won. That's all I have to say.
Is that how it's Smash coded?
Yes, of course. There's a glitch in the game that even if you lose all 3 stocks, you end up on the winner's screen, and you know it's always determined by who's the winner on the winner's screen. So I mean, hey. And look what he's doing. Like, look at something that Waymas doing. Just a quick parenthesis other than that. What I'm seeing is that Waymas is actually using like the turnips. He's throwing them at Daisy. He's using his motorcycle to use it as like a shield against his turnips. And what he's doing is that he's eating the parts in order to charge up his waft. Now that he used it halfway through, and that's something that I have to recognize that it's very intelligent on behalf of Waymas as well. Pop the balloon, pop the balloon. No, I hate you. Okay, so yeah, that's something that I have to see right here that Waymas is doing quite well. He's using the tools that are being thrown at him by Kafeik in his favor, and that's pretty neat.
Yeah, however, Kafeik still holding that lead, which is slowly dissipating because right now, Waymas feels quite comfortable at throwing hitboxes out. They're working and they're pretty hard hitting. That's the thing. Waymas will survive for a little longer considering the weight and just the pressure that he's putting out. He's still controlling that ledge and gets clipped by the umbrella. Not quite enough to get the stock just yet, opting for a very weird angled recovery, which allows Waymas to reverse the situation in his favor. Careful here because maybe even a half waft would be good enough to get something done, but the stock is immediately gone, and just like that, we see a weird reaction over there from Waymas, but hey, still looking quite comfortable. Last stock in this game 5, last opportunity to determine whether the coding in Smash is right. Whoever pops the balloon wins. We will see that shirt.
He has full waft now. He has full waft now because that's all exactly that he needs. He was using exactly that, and this is like those micro decisions that players make that benefit them so much. Like if he had not used the motorcycle in those 2 occasions, he wouldn't have gotten his waft sooner. Now he has that pressure. He has that tool to apply that makes Kafeik tremble. Like he makes him like say, you know what, I have to be careful with what I'm doing, or else I'm going to be clipped. Okay, right here, going in a very similar situation, but Kafeik doesn't panic this time, and he just goes simply down onto the ground where he knows that maybe Waymas doesn't have those setups that he likes, because most of the setups that Waymas has for a waft are in the air. So once he stays on the ground, even though it may not be Peach's best scenario to play in, it's still the safest one right now. And this is no way!
Wow. There you go. What a beautiful way of sealing that stock, sealing the game, bringing it on his favor. Just an unexpected waft by the ledge, forcing an untechable situation despite Kafeik's best efforts to bring back the set. It was just ultimately what you mentioned, right? The pressure, the unpredictability of how Waymas is going to use that tool that is ever so looming there. You know, it's really hard to deal with, and especially considering just how good it is and how devastating the tool and the results it brings. And you know what? It seems that you were right. You know, he popped the balloon, he won.
When have I ever